Good day everyone, it's Will. I'm here making another video, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. Yesterday, as everyone knows by now, or should know, there was not one, but two mass shootings in the United States. One claiming the lives of 14 victims as well as two shooters, and another one in Savannah, Georgia, claiming the life of one person but injuring 4 other people. And I've decided that I no longer want my opinions and views to just stay inside me and on my Facebook page, because a lot of you, well, none of you know my actual Facebook page, but every time this happens, and the sad fact that you have to say every time it happens, where it's now pretty much a daily occurrence, I put something on my Facebook page, everyone I know puts something on their Facebook page, and everyone that's not directly living in the United States, like everyone in the rest of the planet, seems to care more than the rest of the people that live in the States. And I wasn't going to make this video at first because I didn't know how to make this video, as I do not live in the United States, and I'm not anti-gun whatsoever. I believe guns have their purpose. I am anti-killing people with guns, like anti-murder, which I'm sure everyone is, but it just seems like not everyone is, considering there are mass shootings every day. And I wasn't going to make this video, as I said, but I decided to after going onto YouTube once again, like I always do every night. And one of the people I actually subscribe to, which is they're a pretty good gun-orientated YouTube channel. They do fun things with their guns, shooting cans and pop bottles and stuff like that, and it's fun to watch. And that's one of the reasons I'm not anti-gun, is because I know that with guns you can do fun things with them, hunting and all that, but it just seems that the wrong people are getting guns. And for the most part, we've heard from now that the shooters yesterday purchased their guns legally, and this is the case many times. And the people that, like the video that I watched, who are obviously very pro-gun, their video was made, I'm guessing it was made last week, and in the video they were talking about how the media wants to ban guns based on how they look, and how certain guns look scarier than other guns. And I'm going to touch on that again later on. But this is weird. But yeah, so they believe that the government and the media wants to blame guns just because of how they look and not what they're actually used for, which is just not true whatsoever. And they don't really throw facts out in their videos, because obviously most pro-gun people don't care about the facts. They care about going and shooting stuff, obviously. So I just want to start out, like I've already said, that I'm pro-gun, or not pro-gun. I don't know what I would classify myself as. I'm obviously not anti-gun, and I'm not like super pro-gun. Guns have their place, obviously, and yeah, I don't believe we should ban them outright. I believe that, you know, the right people should have the guns, but there should be stricter controls on these guns and what you can use the guns for and stuff like that. And even like the modifications you can put on guns, which I touch on again later on, as you'll see. I just want to say, like right off the bat, like I have the utmost faith in the human race being able to overcome any situation, and this is one of those situations that I know we can get over. And I know we can just, if we just put our minds to it, we can get through this whole gun control thing, to get to a place where every day we wake up and we're not turning on the news to see that, you know, 20 kids were killed in a school, or, you know, more schools are on lockdown because people are making threats. Like this is every single day. Every single day, people are waking up to news that a school is closed down because there's someone shooting, or, you know, an office Christmas party, which happened yesterday. An office Christmas party was, people were killed just enjoying Christmas time by two people. We don't know anything about them yet. We do know that their house was filled with an arsenal of ammo and guns and bombs, and the guns and ammo were all purchased legally, which is just, it's a scary thought knowing that these people can get these things and do the things that they are doing with these things, with the guns and the weapons. And my view and my opinion on this is that the reason we're not getting stricter gun controls is the same reason the oil companies get what they want, and the reason we don't have awesome electric vehicles, or the reason marijuana is not legal, or the fact that the government is owned by certain companies and lobbyists, and the gun lobbyists are the ones that are, you know, fighting to get gun control abolished all the time. There was a 20-year or 25-year ban on even talking about gun control in the Senate, and that's, how do you ban something like that? That doesn't make sense at all. Like, that's like banning going to McDonald's. Are you gonna do that? You no longer, for the next 20 years, you're not allowed to go to McDonald's. You can't do it. Sorry, you can't have McNuggets anymore. Now, in the video that I had watched yesterday, they never once mentioned any of the mass shootings that happened in the States, and in a lot of their videos, they'll make a brief mention of it, like, oh, this happened, now let's tell you why gun control shouldn't happen. And they always say that the media always comes out right after these shootings, and they're just basing their facts and their feelings on emotion. And they're true. That's right. That's completely 100% true. And the emotions are, people are dying, and you guys don't seem to care. Like, the pro-gun people that are in these videos just straight up say, like, give us our guns. And one of the scary fact is they say more guns are the answer to these mass shootings. And in the video they mentioned the terrorist attacks on Paris multiple times, which is weird because they're not in Paris, they're not in the UK, they're not in the EU, they're not in Canada, they're not in Australia, they're in America, where this happens every day, and they're not mentioning that this happens every day in America. And they constantly mentioned ISIS being in their backyards, which isn't true, and which it's very not true. And the only time they once ever referenced a situation on the United States soil was a February 28th, 1997 bank heist in California, where the bank robbers outgunned the cops, and the cops had to go to the armory and, like, get bigger guns. And that then, in 1997, should have been an awakening, an opening of the eyes, in which things should have been banned instantly, like fully automatic weapons and all that. Like, any weapon, and they state that we want to ban weapons that look dangerous, and then they go on to say that, you know, if we're going to ban guns because guns kill people, then we should ban baseball bats and rusty forks and stuff like that, because those can also kill people. The only difference that I see, and 90% of the world sees, is that a baseball bat can kill 2 people, maybe 3 people in a row before somebody can stop them. Whereas with a gun, you can literally sit at the doorway of a building, or a conference hall, or a classroom, and just open fire and have 20 kills like that in a matter of 2 seconds. And in their other videos, they show some guns that can fire fully automatic and empty a clip in a second. A clip of 30 bullets in 1 second. And they don't want to ban stuff like that because it's fun to shoot stuff like that. And it probably is. I've never shot a gun. I don't plan on ever shooting a gun. But a baseball bat, if I were to run into a school with the intention of killing people with a baseball bat, I would make it past the first person before somebody's like, hey, we should probably stop him, and then they would tackle me. That's the difference with a gun. If you walk into a place with a gun and you shoot, nobody's coming to tackle you, because a bullet will kill you instantly, given the chance that it hits the right thing. Or if not kill you instantly, it will severely incapacitate you and your ability to stop said person with the gun. A baseball bat won't do that. A rusty fork won't do that. Hell, you could pick up a midget and beat someone to death with it, but you're gonna beat one person to death before that midget probably gets pissed off and fights you, or before someone else says, hey, put that midget down. So they make facts that we're trying to ban guns because they look dangerous, and in one breath they say they were talking about certain modifications to a gun that make them look more dangerous, and then literally in their next breath they state that those same modifications make guns more accurate, will hide where you're shooting from, and these are good reasons for critter hunting, which I understand. If you're using your gun to go out and hunt coyotes and wolves to protect your property from animals that are killing your livestock or whatever, or you're hunting, gophers or whatever, sure, it's a great thing to have. But what if your critter isn't a coyote or a gopher? What if the critter you're hunting is your boss that just fired you, or a bully at school that's been picking on you? Then you now have literally been given ideas on how to make yourself a better killer from this video. From the video that I watched. I'm not going to link to it. I'm not going to tell you who it was, because I don't care to give them any more publicity than... they're not going to get any publicity off this video. What am I saying? But they state straight up that, like, they want to ban guns because they look dangerous, and then literally in the next breath say, this is what makes guns more dangerous. Like, every video I've ever seen about ending gun control and all that is that, like, they always tell you how to make your gun more dangerous and then tell you, hey, don't ban this stuff. Like, it's stupid, because you're honestly giving us reasons to ban guns and then telling us not to for those reasons. And they had gone on to say that, like, in the EU and the European Union, the UK and all that, they don't have open carry laws, so that people can't carry their guns openly and freely like they can in the States. And they say this is a problem because if somebody, say during the terrorist attacks, because that's the only thing that they focused on, which is very, very like the gun control movement, where they're just like on the one track and there's like gonna pick one thing and just go with it. And so they state that if they had open carry laws in Paris, that the tragedy wouldn't have happened the way it had happened, because someone would have stood up and shot them, or shot the attackers. And that instantly, just to me, and I'm sure to any logical, reasonable thinking human being, would just state that, how is that a solution to the problem, having more guns, or having the ability to carry your gun openly and freely? Because the way I look at it is, sure, these terrorists came in and they did such atrocious acts, and if somebody had a gun and was able to shoot them, well, so now you've just got one guy shooting from one place at another guy that's shooting at another place, and now you've just got bullets flying everywhere from every direction. And what if you go into a cafe and some guy decides he wants to, like, shoot up the cafe, and there's 5 guns there, open carrying guns. So now you've got 5 guys that all stand up because they all want to be the hero, and all 5 of them start shooting, plus the terrorist or the person doing their, I'm just going to call them terrorists, because mass shootings in general are just, in my opinion, are made to just inspire terror. And sure, they may have a different motive, like, oh, my boss fired me and now I'm going to go kill him and just get as many people as I want with it. But mass shootings in a whole are just terroristic acts. And the problem with yesterday's mass shooting, the second mass shooting of the day, I have mentioned, is that they today, or last night and as well as today, do not want to label it as a terroristic act, because what I've noticed in the news is that they never want to call it a terroristic act. They always want to blame the shooter and the mental health aspect all the way to like a T. It's never the guns. It's never anything else besides mental health, violent video games, violent music. And that's just not right. And they never want to call it domestic terrorism, because then that would be them acknowledging that there is a problem and they don't know how to solve it. Because whether the person came from abroad or whether they were, purebred, grown Americans, they are terrorists in every sense of the word. They came to instill terror, and that is what they do. And on to the mental health issue, not every mass shooter has been mentally ill. For instance, a couple months ago, a racist, white supremacist walked into a church, sat through the church service, and then opened fire. And we all know that as Charleston. And that wasn't the only one. There's been several throughout the past year there's been, to put this into perspective, there have been 350 odd mass shootings to today. And there haven't even been 350 days this year. Since Sandy Hook, there have been over 1,000 mass shootings in the United States. And now everyone that wants to fight gun control and all that just states that, well, this happens other countries too, and it doesn't just happen in America. And they throw out facts like there have been more mass shootings per capita in Slovakia and war-torn countries, as well as like Iceland and stuff like that. They use countries that, of course, it happens everywhere else. It just doesn't happen on the scale that it happens here. Well, not here because I'm in Canada, but in the States, where literally every single day there's a mass shooting. And if it's not every single day, then the second day of the week there will be 2 mass shootings to make up for not having a mass shooting the day before. And another sad fact is that because it does happen every day, we're kind of desensitized to it, and we're only reporting on the ones in which 10 or more people are killed, and forgetting about the ones where only 4 people were injured or killed. And that's a scary fact, that like, where unless you kill 10 people or more, you're not going to get